guys, welcome. Come on in. We are excited to have you with us today. This is our December webinar for the higher ed social community. So hopefully that's how you found us. Come on in. We will give everybody just a few moments to come on in the session. Come on in and get situated. Let us know in the chat where you guys are coming from. Tell us about your campus. Let us know if the sound is okay. Can you hear us okay? Can you see Lucas and I?
Hi, everyone.
We'll do a little bit of technical testing here and give everybody just a moment to go ahead and get situated. Come on in, you guys. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Pauline. We are really excited to have you with us today, guys. I am super excited from this webinar. There's some really cool things we're going to talk about, and I think that are super timely in this time of COVID and admissions. You know, it's the crush. A lot of folks have January 1st admissions deadlines, and so really that last minute push here on how we can leverage our community and how do we even build an online community. So we'll give it just a minute more here, let people get in. This session will be recorded. So anybody who wasn't able to attend, or if it moves a little fast, all attendees will be able to get a copy of that recording. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the higher ed social group after this. Lucas is there. You can feel free to tag him. Of course, we'll answer questions live on the call today as well. So if you have any questions at any point, if you've never used Demio, we do have a chat function over here on the right side of your screen, and anybody can chat. So go ahead and pop those in there. We also have Pauline from Speech who will be helping moderate the chat. So you'll see some folks in there. And yeah, come on in. Tell us where you're from. Is it cold where you guys are right now? I'm calling in from Florida. It's a balmy 70 degrees right now and gorgeous. And Lucas is calling in from Germany, where
Which
it
it's
is
really dark.
dark and cold.
Exactly.
So wonders of technology, we were able to communicate today. And so we'll give it just maybe one more minute here. Let everybody come on in. Welcome, Andy. Hey, Anna, Christopher, Jordan. Welcome, welcome. Come on in, Lauren, Lori. Awesome. Looks like we've got a great mix of schools as well calling in. So yeah, come on in, say hi. Let us know that your chat function works. Is sound okay? Give us a thumbs up. Pictures are good. And so, hey, awesome, Florida State. So you guys are close to me. That's fantastic. So once again, my name is Cassandra Serino. I'm the admin for the higher ed social community, which is probably how you found out about this webinar today. And we are the world's largest society for social media managers who work in colleges and universities in the education space. And from time to time, we do webinars on a variety of topics that our members have asked for, and getting to connect our members to, some of the really interesting ed tech platforms that are out there. And so I'm really excited to introduce you guys to my friend Lucas. He works at a really cool company called Speech, and they are one of the foremost leaders in community engagement and how do we leverage and connect with our online communities especially. And so really, really excited for this webinar today. I'm hoping it's super helpful to you guys in your work and in what you're doing in your work with your students and your campus communities. Again, this webinar will be recorded, so if we miss anything, you can always go back and watch it later if you have to jump off early. And for anybody who registered who wasn't able to attend, they'll go ahead and get the replay as well. And so without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Lucas to tell you a little bit about him and his company Speech and all of that. So Lucas, welcome. We are super excited to have you
Thank
in
you.
as a guest. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of how you got started in this space and the work you're doing at Speech?
Yes. Well, thank you first for this introduction. You spoke my first slide, actually. But that's fine. So, well, welcome everyone. Good evening from Germany. Good afternoon or good morning. I don't know where you all are. So yeah, as Cassandra was saying, so I'm Lucas. I'm the head of marketing at Speech, and we are a community engagement solution software, which I will explain a little bit towards the end of the talk of what we do and how it could actually benefit your brand and your universities and your companies in general. Just to give a little bit of context to why I'm speaking today, actually, and why I'm in the higher ed social group. I used to work for a business school here, well, in Spain, actually, which is where I'm based, for the last 5 years. And then I moved to speech software. So it's been about 2.5 years. I'm part of the group. So I've been from the like social and kind of education side, and now I'm more on the edtech side. So I have both views. As you might have noticed already, so as Cassandra said, I'm in Germany. I'm based in Spain, but from the accent you can guess, so I'm French. And yeah, so I started my career in Spain, administration in a business school, then moved to social media marketing. And as you can all imagine, being marketing manager in a business school or in a university, you do everything from social media to events to classes to pretty much anything that there is to do. So yeah, I stayed 5 years in the business school. The business school grew around 300% in the last 5 years. And this is mainly because our community engagement and community efforts, which is why I'm here today. So yeah, just to give you a little idea of how we're gonna like talk about today and how it's gonna be. First, we're gonna talk about community engagement, the importance, a little bit of community engagement, and everything around it, how to leverage it. Then I'll move on to speech and tell you a bit more about what we do. And at the end, we'll have a little Q&A with Pauline, which is already in the chat. I can't see the chat right now, but I'm guessing she's there and she's saying hi. So thank you for being here, Pauline, and thank you.
This is awesome, Lucas. This is great because it's we love to see platforms and folks who really understand what we get in higher ed, right? And understand our landscape and understand our students and how we work with our campus communities. I think that's uber important, and a lot of our members really are they're heartened by having friends at platforms who understand our work. So this is great. We're excited to hear from you today.
Definitely, thank you. And I think it's also very important to take it from the beginning. So that's what I'm going to do today. And not only I'm going to talk about like the importance of community and community engagement and all those things, but also just to put everything into context, like what is a community? How did we get there? Why is it important? Just a little bit of definition to start the talk. So I'm just going to start by introducing myself a bit further. As I said, I used to work in a business school. And before that, I was working in luxury fashion, which is completely different. But that is what gave me the idea and like the willing of working more into community engagement, into community in general. Just to imagine, what I like about community basically is community engagement is the personalization of thing and knowing the person you are talking to, and even more knowing what they expect you to do and expect from you and from your brand. So for example, when we're working in luxury marketing and luxury fashion in general, we would have clients walking in stores, and for the third or fourth time they would walk in and we would know everything about them. So for example, like if their husband had a call 3 days ago, if they didn't like the color of the last coat or pair of shoes we had in store. So like just to give you an idea, so that's basically why community is important, is because the more you know about the people that you interact with, the more you can actually deliver and give the value they are expecting from you. As you can imagine, it can be applied, and that's why I'm going to focus in higher education today, but it can be applied to all and everything, from like luxury fashion to education to e-commerce to tech to music to literally everything, even your day-to-day life. So it's just a great concept to understand. So yeah, coming back to my education background, basically we were working on, when I arrived, on growing the school, because it was a tiny school, around 50, 60 students per year, a very small school in Spain, private, and we were wondering how to grow to big numbers and become a bit larger school. Obviously without the big budgets and without having thousands and thousands to spend in marketing or in sales. So what we decided to do, and what we quickly realized, it was that our community was the most important thing we have, and actually our best sales and marketing channel, because the more our students and our community was happy about the value we're giving them, basically the more they would talk about us. And the more they would talk about us, the more students we would get. So as I said, using this strategy, we grew from 50, 60 students to, at the end when I left, around 150, or even more, I think 200 students. So a little bit on the actions that I implemented over the year. We went from social media. So as you can see, we had like an ambassador program on social media. We tried to work on experience marketing, on really cool stuff. So we went to like European HQ from Google in Dublin, Ireland. We organized lunch together. We went to visit startups to talk about entrepreneurship. We went to talk with airlines to talk about innovation. Agencies about marketing. Basically, we went to talk with a lot of professionals and try to give as much value as we could to the students, not only with our education, but also with what we could share from them and from the community to them, which is what gave me basically the idea and the taste of community and the taste of community engagement. And that's why I took the next step to go towards Speech Now and the software and the community engagement softwares. Was just to go the step ahead, a step further into this community engagement and understanding that the people you have in front, the people you're talking to, are the ones that are important for your business, more than anything else, actually. So just to give another bit of definition about community, the community, they usually defined as just a group of people. They're interested in something, or they're living in the same place, or they're born somewhere, or whatever, they have something in common. But what's most important now, and even more now with COVID and the whole crisis happening, is that your online community, the online brand communities, that's what's important, not only just the community, but the online community. And the big difference with your normal community is that your online community can be anywhere. It's not only on your campus, it's not only in your country, it's not only in your state, in your city. Your online community is basically everywhere, and the only thing they have in common is you. So they're not only your students or your alumni, they're your students, their parents, their friends, their fans, the followers you have on social media, the people visiting your website, the faculty composing your university or your school, and just people being curious about you, people that are watching your stories, sharing your content, looking at your Twitter. So literally anyone that have an interest in your brand. And those are the people that matters to you. Because those are the people that you're talking to. They're the people that receive your message, and they are the people that you are communicating for. So all the content you create, engaging, the stories you share, they are all for these people. And the difficulties for you and for everyone is you don't know them. You have no idea who they are. You might have a profile on your students. You might have a profile on your alumni, on their parents. You have no idea who are those followers of the thousands of people that are following you, but you don't even know why they're following you. They're just there. And those are important, and those are the one I really want to give an explanation on today and put really the value on them today, because they are the one that creates your business and that will make it grow, especially now. So the big difference with this community of people is also your audience. And I think it's really important to divide those two, even if it's quite basic in marketing and for most of you that work in social media. Basically, audience is everyone in the room. Community is everyone in the room that is interested in what you're saying. So as putting it in the higher education context, you might imagine a classroom. You have one professor, 20 students. Hopefully, that would be a pretty cool classroom. And in the 20 people, those are your audience. You have the people sitting at the back. They're not listening to what you're saying. People play on their phone. You have people actually paying attention to what you say. If you are lucky enough, you have people actually asking questions or being interested in what you're saying. And those are your community, like the first two rows of your classroom. The people that actually listen to what you say and the people that are interested about you say. And those are actually the people you want to talk to and the people you want to keep engaging. You want to keep them in class because they are the one that makes this class and your brand in general work. Now the objective with your social media, with all your effort, digital or not, is how do you keep those two front rows engaged, but also how do you turn all the rest and the people on their phone to become those people, to go front. And this is a real classroom, but imagine now in the online space, in your social media, it's literally the same scene. So you have one teacher, 20, but instead of just one teacher at the beginning, you have hundreds of teachers around them talking to them, plus you have around 10 PlayStations. And you have to keep their attention, and you have to manage to get their attention. So it's really hard on social media, and we have to find kind of the actions to move them to community, from audience to community, basically. The importance of that, and that's a really cool image, I really wanted to use it. I like to take it as this movie 300, not sure if you're familiar with it, and using it to show what, for example, an influencer would do. So if we take, for example, your brand using an influencer here, talking about community, your influencers will take your message, you will tell him, my university is great, tell this to your audience. So that influencers have 100,000 people, and will just post a story and be like, hey guys, this school is great, go check them out. Great, you got your message out to 100,000 people, but those people are not your community, they are the audience of the person you are asking to narrate your story. So the influencer here is just a narrator. It's just someone that has an external community or audience, and is just sharing your message. They don't care about you, they don't even know you, and they just get a message. They might use that message and come to see you or not. That's totally independent of your saying. But then you have those 300. Imagine, those 300 would be your students. They're actually studying with you, they know your school, and each of them has around, I don't know, 500 followers on their social media. Well, that makes 150,000 people. 150,000 people, they're actually the community of your community. They're the people that will be reached, not by a narrator, but this influencer, but by their friends, their family, people they know, people they trust, and people they're interested in because they're already following them. So those are the good ones. Those are the ones that would be easy and easier, let's say, not easy, but they're the most likely to become your community then. And I like to use the 300 movie thing, just because imagine now, I don't know if you know the movie, but it's basically Leonidas, the king. He has 300 soldiers. They've been raised for war and raised to protect their community. And they go to war against 1 million people. And they actually do pretty well. But now take it as, imagine Leonidas tomorrow morning, he wakes up, the war is in the afternoon. He calls his influencer, he's like, can you get me, like, tell 100,000 people to come for my war? Don't think the result is the same here. So you have to imagine, do you rather have 100,000 people being called and getting your message, or even 300, they're actually really engaged and they're already your community, they're loyal, they're engaged people. So those are the important people you want to focus on, and the people that will like differentiate your school to another one, or differentiate your business to another one, or differentiate your social media presence to another one. And that's really the key here. And I like to use a second movie for this kind of analogy and explanation, which is Harry Potter. It's surprising, but I don't know if you remember at the beginning of the first movie, you have Hagrid. He's actually telling Harry Potter, the young one, that he needs to get a wand, and he just tells him, you go to this shop, get a wand, and you'll see it's great. So what little Harry does, he's going there, getting the wand, and well, we all know what's happening next. During 7 or 8 movies, he fights with that wand, and he does also really well, thanks to the recommendation from Hagrid, which can consider now as an influencer, I think I would say. So yeah, so that's the power of recommendation. So you can imagine that's a recommendation that he got at the beginning. That's how it would look like if he didn't get that recommendation. So that's a proper image of the power of recommendation from the community and from those engaged and loyal people. You can see all that great series. We could have just taken one, which would be really sad today, I think. So that's a really big point of community, but there is also a second one, a really important one, and it's applied to social media, and it's the terrible algorithm, the one we all fear, the one we all like, the one we all try to use. And basically this algorithm, I'm just taking the one, for example, on Facebook, because it's the largest one. It's, to put it simply, taking 3 things in consideration when reading your content. He's looking at who's typically interacting with you, the content itself, and the popularity, so the amount of interaction it gets. So for the content itself, I'm not really going to talk about much today, because you all do a great job. I mean, I'm on the group. There's great campaigns out there, great content. You actually have the opportunity, and you're all the one only business to have this opportunity of using your users, your customers, your clients, your students. So you can use them for a lot of things, and you can make amazing content. So I'm going to leave that to you. But for the 2 others, that's where actually I think I can help, and that's where speech usually helps. The point here is that you want people not only to enjoy your content, but you want your people to interact with your content, and you want people to discuss with you that content. So you might put the best video out there, but how do you get them to comment on it? How do you get them to share them? How do you get it like the content you're putting. And that's really important, because the more they will engage with that content, the more visibility we'll get. And the more visibility we'll get, well, the more audience you get, and the more community, and the more clients at the end. So it's always about the interaction and the exchange with that community. I'm talking at the algorithm, but there is also a lot of engagement. So you can see that's from Hootsuite for 2021. Yeah, 2021. And you can see the latest report. They say like most of the marketers, they're looking for acquisition, awareness, lead generation, retention. So they're looking about a lot of things from social media. But how do you get your community to do that? How you get their likes, because their likes are just likes. How do you transform their likes to like engage people and ambassador for your brand, and people that would do the recruitment for you almost? So that's how I want to put it, and that's, I think, really important to keep in mind. That's something we all know, but I don't think that's something we apply on a day-to-day basis. But we have to really remember that is that engagement is not only your community giving you their likes, their share, their comments. Engagement is you providing something and them providing something. It's an exchange of value. So if you want their likes, if you want their attention, you want their time, you want them to actually listen to what you're saying. So what are you telling them? What are you giving them in return? Which value are you giving them? Is it a nice blog post where they're going to learn about? But what's next? Only learning, but there is several like channels that they want to learn, obviously, but they also want to play, and they want to work, and they want to have fun, and so there is a lot of different things that you might not be touching yet, and that's what I'm here to explain today. So how do we do this? Basically, how do you go from this classroom, which it's okay, I mean, it's not too bad, but to this one, which is really cool, and I hope you actually experience classrooms like that. So there is a way. There's this way, for example. It might be a bit weird looking at it like this, because that's just someone giving a gift. But that's mainly what people do with loyalty program, for example. When you look at sales in Black Friday, for example, and all those e-commerces now that have been crazy in this COVID time, they actually tell you, we're going to give you something in exchange of you giving us something, which is the principle of engagement I just said, the exchange. So for example, hey, buy a product and I'll give you 10% on your next one. Okay, cool. Buy this product and I'll give you free shipping for next one. So you see where I'm going with this. It's like they're actually giving another value to it. They're giving an exchange value to something they want their community to do. But that's just one point. Imagine your audience here. They are your community, better said. They're here from 0 to 100 with you. It's not only that when they are students, they're important to you, but they're important before, when they look for your university, when they search, when they communicate with you. Then, of course, they become the purchase, the enrollment, they become your clients. They come to your university, they're your students. That's a really important moment, but what's happening after also? They just don't disappear, they're also here, they're your community still, and they're gonna stay for a long time. So what about these? Social media follow, their engagement. When they contact you, the website visit, I wrote, a big list here, and you can see enrollment, but then they also go to class, they go to events, they graduate. After graduation, they're also important to you because they can give you testimonials, they can purchase your merch and walk around the city with your super cool hoodies. So how do you push them for doing all these activities? Because a loyalty program is cool if you only reward them for their enrollment, but what about all this? There have been a few brands in the past, let's say 2 years, that have understood that principle and they're trying to apply it. So we've been like Sephora. I'm pretty sure you all know Sephora. They've been the perfect example about how to use their community and how to engage their community. They have used from influencer marketing to platforms online to tech to literally every single possibilities they had. So you can see they have like booth in stores where you can interact with them. They have UGC campaigns with their users. Hey, tag us in your makeup routines. We all seen these videos now. They have a community space also for their clients, which is kind of a forum where they can exchange ideas. They can talk to them. They can also listen to them, which is really important for their marketing later. And I've heard they've also been the test brand for Facebook new loyalty program. So you can see here, they're actually doing something great, because if even Facebook goes to them to test their new loyalties, I think really getting inspired. And I'm using e-commerce, and well, not even an e-commerce, like a large cosmetic brand, retail, but you can apply these strategies to pretty much any, because you're in a school, but your clients are your students. it's exactly the same way. At the end of the day, what you want is sell your services. You want more people in your school, and you want people to enjoy and talk about it. So you want exactly the same than most of businesses. This is just a big thing. And you can see, for example, here Sony with their PlayStation. We all seen probably in the past week that they put the filter out for their, like, the PS5. They organize contests with digital photography. They share the gameplays on YouTube. So they really try to engage the community, not only for buying their PlayStation, but also after and the before. So you can see the before, they put a filter out so you can use it. The during, so you take screenshots while you're playing and send it, and they just publish them on their Twitter and use their hashtags. But then they also record what you're doing, send us your video, and then they use it in their videos on their YouTube. So they're really helping their community get visible, and they're really using that content that the community is actually creating for them. They're not even making any effort here. And they have free marketing. And this is where your engagement becomes your really good tool. So now I'm just going to go a bit further into it. And now that we've seen what brands do and a bit about the community and also my background personally before, I'm pretty sure we all don't play with Sony or Sephora budget, which is totally okay. And you can do great thing without that budget. And this is what led me at Speech. So when I understood that, okay, it's cool, we're doing all that for brands, but what can we do more? And how could we do it more? How can we take that community, and instead of just being like, hey, cool, thanks for that purchase, hey, cool, thanks for being a student, to, hey, thank you for being here, and thank you for being my community. And so that's Speech. Speech, which was created 3-4 years ago, which I joined in 2020, so it's going to be a year in a month now, is a community engagement platform which is based on social media interaction. So when the company was created by Kevin, our CEO founder, which I think is in the chat around there, he's watching me. So Speech is a platform and a community engagement software that we offer to e-commerces, to schools, to any brands that needs to engage their community a bit further and a step further, which we do with social media interaction. So that's the first step that we do. Basically, I like to use the pizza card as an example a bit to explain Speech when I'm trying to, like, simplify it. When I tell to my parents, for example, the pizza card. So you go to the pizzeria, you order a pizza, you get a stamp. After 10 stamps, you get a free pizza. It's really simple, really good. It works. I mean, you definitely get those 10 pizza, and you are happy when you get the one for free. Speech is exactly the same concept, but instead of rewarding you for being a pizza eater, it's rewarding you for engaging with the brand on social media. So imagine your university and you're telling your whole community, so as we saw, your students, your alumni, parents, followers, everyone, you're telling them, every time you will give me a like, I'll give you 2 points. And every time you comment, I'll give you 3 points. And every time you share my content, I'll also give you 10 points for that. But not only, and then if you go on Instagram and you, like, just share a picture on campus and you tag us there, we'll give you 20 points for that. But also, because you're a nice student, if you come to class on time today, you also get 20 points. So you see here, we're rewarding with a system of points, a simple system of points, every single action along the journey for that person, for that community. And you can apply it to literally anything. And that's what we work. So we work on right now implementing on Facebook and Instagram. That's our main business, let's say. That's our main software, which we reward then, like, the likes, the comments, the share on Facebook, but also UGC on Instagram, which is great because it allows you first to leverage your community, so they engage even more with you. They make your, like, brand more visible on social media, which is a really big thing. But also your UGC, so they show you on Instagram, for example. You can see on the little visual I put, so those are actual screenshots of the platform itself. And for example, you can see on that brand, if they post a picture of your brand, they get points for it, happy. But also on the other side for you, not only you send them points, which they can get rewards for that you set before. So you decide, okay, for 8,000 points, I'm going to give them a hoodie from our university, which is really great. But also you can download that content and moderate that content. So not only you tell them, put that picture out and I'll reward you, but also you're getting that content, you're downloading it, you can reuse it for your next marketing campaign. And that's the really big thing here for you just generate content. Also, I mean, just as part of the software, you get analytics, which is really good. Not only analytics because it's important, because you also get that in literally every single social media software you're using, but because they're cross analytics. So imagine now, you see those analytics, you see that CRM. Now you know that that person X likes your content on Facebook every day. You know that that person Y is one of your students. You know that that person E is actually posting a picture about you on Instagram. But you don't know those people, and you don't know what they do on other platforms. Now, thanks to speech, you basically have those people register as your community. Once they register, every single action they're going to make, every single action you decide to reward, it's going to be centralized in one and one only platform. So basically, you would have person X, that's his Instagram, that is Facebook, that's how many points he has, that's how many rewards he got, but also the type of reward he exchanged, but also after that, how many comments, how many likes, how many shares he put on Facebook, but also how many pictures he shared of you on Instagram, and how many whatever, if he signed up to your newsletter, for example, or if he clicked on that email you sent, if he filled that form that you've sent for your students, for example, or if he participated to that event that you had last month. So you have a full understanding, kind of a CRM view of a Facebook user identified as a community member. So now this whole crowd of community that we were saying at the beginning, they're all listening to you and they're all interacting with you, but you have no idea who they are. Well, now you know. And this, imagine the possibility with that. You download that file, you put it on your Facebook, you can put an ad out with your lookalike audience, but you can also contact these people manually with their email and being like, hey, thank you for being part of the community. Can I help you with anything? Because you noticed that that person was really great on social media, but he's not one student yet, but he has the age for it. So what's up? You know, you can always do all these type of things. And that's only for what we do at Speech now. So we have social media integration, but we also have API integration. So imagine your school now being, all right, social media is great, but we would also like to reward those students that come on time. Great, we can do that. Or we would like to thank those students that participate in that latest NGO campaign we had, like social campaign on campus. Well, here you go. We can connect the point system to that. So this is a way, and that's when I was talking about a step, like the next step, is this is a way now that we know that the loyalty program on one side, it works for purchases. We know that a community is great for our companies and for our brands and for our universities. And now we also know that we can reward their engagement all along that journey and making use of it. Now you might have a question and you might be, okay, but that's kind of rewarding any actions from our users without meaning behind it, because all right, they're just going to be like, all right, cool, I'm going to give them a like just because I'm going to get points out of it. Well, that could be a thing, but we've seen from Speech that actually, since we work with a lot of clients, actually this brings joy and kind of a happy feeling to most of the community, and you actually get positive response out of it. So imagine now you get 20 more comments per post, but not only you get comments with thumbs up, cool, nice. No, you actually get constructive people that like to share about your community and your brand because they love you and they love what you put out there. So you just creates a big kind of community feeling, you reward it, and now you have this tool in your hands that you have this big amount of data, you have these people engaged on your social media and any of your activities that you want, and you can make just a connection between that. So this is what I wanted a little bit to talk about today. I don't want to go too deep into Speech, for example, because that's not a commercial talk, or into like content, because that's your thing and everyone can just make his own content. So what would be great is to receive your question and actually be able to answer them and think about together of like how we could apply that and how you can apply it to your own brands. So yeah, I'd love to hear your question now.
Because this is fantastic, and I love the idea of, you know, couching it as a concept that we understand, right? I'm going to my local pizza place, I have my stamp card, I'm rewarded for my loyalty. And how do we tie this into higher ed? Because we know that fealty and loyalty to an institution is important. We have, you know, alumni, you know, admissions preference at some schools. We know that in families, a parent will go, then it's more likely that their student or child or someone else in their family will go. So
Exactly.
we already understand this loyalty concept, but how are we applying it to our social media marketing? I think is really impactful with quantifying that data, and then also understanding that Gen Z demographic. They enjoy things that are gamified. They enjoy this process of accumulating points and rosters and getting those mini rewards
Exactly. And
from.
I mean, we're talking about Gen Z now, but I mean, everyone who doesn't like to be like, oh, I'm gonna put a like out there today, and I might get a hoodie at the end of the month for free. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a simple concept, and everyone loves having free stuff.
That's true. And we've never before had a way to really capture that. We had students, writing in, send me a t-shirt, I'll wear it, at my high school, but we never really had any analytics on the backside for the cost of that $5 t-shirt. What's our impact? What's our return on investment? And with a platform like Speech, we can actually quantify that and run it and say, yeah, here are our most engaged students that are putting things out there. Why aren't we rewarding our ambassadors on our campus? We're not
Exactly.
rewarding them because a lot of times we don't know who they are. We might know them if they're our student worker, but if they're just out there on Facebook or Snapchat or TikTok and they're our brand evangelists and we don't know about them, we can't capture their audience. And so
Exactly. And sorry to interrupt, and we've seen it with like brands we're working with actually, and everyone likes the human brand. Everyone likes this human interaction. And we've seen with large brand we work with, like I'm talking large, like 1,000 and more employees. And we have these people that come back to us, and I'm giving a report to a client, and I'm telling them, hey, your top ambassador is Jenny. And they're like, oh yeah, we talked to her by email, and they're actually having real human exchange with their clients and with their students, for example, on like a normal basis, which they wouldn't have had before because they didn't know who that person was, and they didn't know that that person posted 3 pictures on Instagram about them last month, for example.
yeah. And I love that this can pull it in from multiple platforms. So if a parent is really active on Facebook and but they're also really active on Instagram, you can link that data together. I think
Exactly.
is
So
really powerful.
as I was saying, the platform actually exists on Instagram and Facebook. It's both linked to the account. So that's one side of the presentation we have. But then we also have API integration, which basically means that we can connect to any existing tech system in the environment of the school, for example. So that's what I was using the example of attendance or event, or for example, Demio, what we're using now for our webinar. Imagine if you can connect that to Facebook and Instagram and say, if that specific, like if the students, they are registered as ambassadors, they connect to that webinar, we will give them points for that too. So it's
That's
pretty interesting
amazing.
here.
Because you're rewarding in-person IRL actions. So
Exactly.
now that we've built this amazing online community during COVID and we come back to our campus and we want to award students for attending a soccer game or going to an academic lecture, we're going to be able to pull that data together. And so if we have these systems set up on the front end next year, hopefully when we're back in person, that's going to be amazing. Just the implications for that are fantastic.
Exactly, and the system is made that you also promote direct interaction. So for example, the CRM I was showing before, you also have the option to send manually points. So imagine you have this person walking in the social media department and being like, hey, I want to help. I've been posting a lot about your school, but I want to help and I want to do a takeover. Like, okay, cool. But you also have these students already registered and you can just send him more points because for the initiative he got, So you have like you can basically reward any interaction and not only just a student for being a student, which I mean they do great at that, but there is more than this.
Yeah. So we actually have a great question kind of tying into this. Jonathan is asking, how do you reward students within reason, right? So that students aren't spending time just trying to accumulate points.
Okay, so I guess here we're talking about the strategy between like points to reward. I'm guessing if I understand well the question.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, this goes in the strategy of on when you implement actually your program. You choose the number of points you want to reward each activity, and you choose the number of points they're related to your reward. So you can push your students. I mean, a like is not going to cost them much time. A comment is not going to cost them much time. And what you can do, first, there is this limitation on like, I don't know, if you put realistic reward, what we usually put tell our brands is put rewards that are easy to get and rewards that are less easy to get. So for example, a reward easy to get might be a free ticket to your next school event, which they can get in like 2 weeks of engagement. Great. Those are the quick engagement one. But then you can put a higher one, which is a free, I don't know, Super Bowl ticket as the top reward. And then they work the whole year around to get that. And to make sure they're not spending that much time, there is also these limits. On speech, we also have a limitation. Of course, we have security measures in place. So for example, if someone shares your post, if they could totally ask their friends, hey, I shared this post, every comment you're going to put on my post, I'm going to get points. And if you all comment, I'll get 500 comments and I'll get to this reward right away. No, we have limits on that. And there is security, which I'm not going to go in details now. But for example, Instagram comment, they can only perform 3 actions per month. So obviously they can post 3 pictures, but then no more, because if not, they will tag you everywhere. And you can moderate that also. So there is a lot of ways of securing and making sure students are students and they're doing their duty as students, and they're not spending 90% of their time just trying to get the rewards, basically.
Perfect. I think that's awesome. You know, that you're not rewarding them just for you know, tagging this thing that's unrelated. I think the limits are fantastic. Jonathan,
Exactly.
does that answer your question? Can you post that up in chat? And I love the idea of having higher tiers, right? So, you know, maybe you're going to work all year and one of your big prizes is a free parking permit, which to the university really doesn't cost them as much as like a physical thing, but it's something
Exactly.
the students would work really hard for, or textbooks, or you know, a bookstore voucher, or something that you know your students have in demand,
Yeah, and,
and
it,
isn't
doesn't have,
really out
and
there.
it doesn't have to be an individual rewards. It can also be a community reward. I mean, we can go further in the thinking, but as it's fully personalized, you could totally also tell your students, look, the top reward is 1,000,000 points or 100,000 points, and you're telling them their collective points. So everyone will go do their actions. But for example, every time you have this reward on top, which is if you get to that level of points, you can exchange your points for this reward, and the reward be the school makes a donation to that specific NGO you want.
Oh, that's
Or for example, if you can show the university that a group of 10 students have collectively made 1,000 points, they decide to, okay, we want this group to go to a scholarship, for example, for someone next year or next term. You can also make them go more into the social space and try to use this leverage to basically reward anything and push the actions you want them to push also.
that's
So
fantastic.
yeah, we've seen universities that are actually working really well with those NGO and social projects, because I mean, students are students, users are users, clients are clients. Everyone loves rewards. But I think we tend to forget also that as human, we also just love to like help people, and
Mhm.
making them engage and engage and engage. It's good for university, but if you can also tell them, the more you engage, the more donations we'll make to that specific NGO, or we're gonna have one more scholarship thanks to your engagement this year. So I mean, you can imagine just a higher reward, something that doesn't touch them personally, but that gives them that community feeling, which also just close the circle, you know?
And I think this ties into Haley's question. What would you advise universities to, in terms of, you know, placing those rewards? What sort of rewards could they have? And I'm really thinking things like, you know, if you have a Greek life on your campus and you have an engaged Greek life, maybe they're going to bring a particular concert or a speaker to campus if they hit a number of points, or donating to one of their philanthropies or something. There's all these different ways that you could segment your population in terms of what rewards that are out there for students
I mean,
to
there is
gamify that
literally
process.
no limits on that. I mean, the limits are only yours and the ones from the university. But if you think about it, I mean, I've worked with lots of different clients on different strategies, from e-commerces to school, and I've seen rewards from an Amazon gift card, a Spotify a membership for a year, a Netflix account, an NGO reward, a donation, a scholarship, free merch from your school, or a free ticket to an event on campus, outside of campus. There is literally endless rewards. I don't know, it could be, I mean, yeah, the limit is basically yours. I mean, there is no limit on rewards, just imagination, I think.
And how neat could that be if you were engaging with your community, right? So maybe you're giving away pizza from a local pizza place, or you're doing some sort of, industry collaboration. Maybe your students are volunteering in the community and a certain amount of points goes towards, that volunteer project. There's so many different ways that
And
really every level of your student offices
exactly.
can
And for
get in
example,
on
I
this.
imagine, I don't know if it's the case for some of the audience, but imagine your university works with partners. So I don't know, you partner on like a year basis to with that shop around the corner, or a community shop, or this supermarket, or I mean, can be anything. But what if you can tell this sponsor or your partner, tell them, hey, look, I'm gonna bring my students to your place because as a reward, we could tell every 500 points you get 10% at that specific place. So not only you're giving free stuff and you're engaging your community, but you're also pushing them to engage with this shop around the corner, and he actually makes sales out of it because you only give a discount. So you're helping this guy, you are helping your university. I mean, there is endless possibilities actually.
Yeah. And really it's helping your most engaged students, your brand evangelists, your most active alumni, these folks that are doing this already, but we're able to quantify it and put that data behind it. I think is
Exactly.
really what takes it to the next level, because we might ad hocly know, oh, Jenny, is always talking about, how great our university is, and she's a tour guide and she's really great. But what if we could actually tie numbers and quantifiable data to that?
Exactly. I mean,
Exactly.
when I was working in the university, I was talking about before the business school. We created the referral program and the ambassador program for students, which was basically if you bring one of your friend, your family member, you'll get I don't know, like a credit on your fees for next semesters. So instead of paying that much money, you will get a little discount on it, which was actually a really great reward. But the idea came because we had students just walking in the office and being like, "Hey guys, so I have two friends from my country. We're in international school. Um, they want to join the school. Could you give me more information, or can you like teach me how you sell the school so I can just send them the material and be the point of contact?" And it started to happen more and more and more to the point of I think it was my third or fourth year there. I think it was around 35% of our students that were coming on recommendation and referrals, which is insane. And it's, I mean, any business would dream of that.
And really, we already know that line of thinking works, right? We know that high schoolers are talking to their friends. If someone else from their high school is going to a college, they're more likely to go. Students want to attend places where, they've got that personal connection. Mom or dad went there, they have a cousin going
Because they're
there.
proud also.
Exactly. Yeah, they're really excited to share in sort of this opportunity with a friend or family member. And I don't think reviews are going to go anywhere. Reviews are just going to become more and more important as we move forward in sort of this
And
economy, especially in, COVID times where everything is online.
exactly.
How
And I mean, talking reviews, I mean, we also, I mean, there is nothing that says we can't gamify the review either, because at the end of the day, today we're doing Instagram, Facebook. As I said, we have an API integration. Imagine if tomorrow you decide, hey, we want to reward people that put Google reviews. Fine, let's do it. So you just multiply the amount of channels you're rewarding, which at the end, that's the point. You wanna follow that person, that ambassador, that student, that community member from the day he first clicked into your Facebook profile to the day, I mean, there is no limit to the day he's 70 years old and he's still proud of being a member of your school.
Yeah. And really these are things that that are going to transcend, sort of this idea of what we're doing in higher ed, right? And so yeah, I'm blown away by what this platform can do, and just the idea of, who what else are we doing out there, what pieces of the conversation are we not capturing. Yeah, this has been, what do you guys think, who are in the chat, you guys who are attending, what do you guys think? Is this something that you would use on your campus, that could be really be useful to you? Do you have other questions for Lucas? Drop them here in chat.
Yeah,
We'll take.
I'll also share. Here you go. If there is anyone that wants to just chat, like schedule a call, just ask
Yeah.
more questions, or want a presentation of the platform or whatever, I'm always up for just even like a digital coffee, as we call it, or whatever. I mean, you can just drop me an email on LinkedIn, whatever, and we can just chat that even further. I mean, me, or I think Pauline is in the chat. She can also share her emails. I mean, we're always here to talk. I mean, we are all in speech passionate about community engagement, and that's our thing. Obviously, we are a company, but we just like what we do. So I mean, whatever question you might have, we are always happy to discuss it.
I think this is great. And I think honestly, it's going to help us become better marketers, and it's going to help our universities serve our students better, because happy students become happy alumni who become donating alumni who encourage us to level up our students and serve them better, all the way around. It really encourages, universities to level up their processes. And so I think this is fantastic, and really a push of the wave of the future to see what's going to be out there. And so
And I
again,
used to
thank
be in that skin of the social media manager and the marketing manager. So I also know that for most of the audience and the people working in universities here or in schools, and happy student is happy life for you, and not having someone just here all the time. Like, what are we doing? How can we, how, like the best sentence, like how, okay, cool content and cool engagement on Facebook, but how does this sell? Like, how many enrollment you got out of it, of that
yeah,
post? Well, now you can say it actually, from that post you got that many students, which is also
that's
like solutioning a lot of problem, solving a lot of problems. Sorry.
and I think it really encourages the university to not just put out content that's trying to go viral, but content that is in like integrated into your business as usual, that we're talking about the end user, the student experience, and let's level up that student experience so that way they want to say good things about us. We're not just putting out junk content to put out content and rewarding that. We're actually really trying to work to the mission of the university, which I think is great for universities that really aren't, or maybe they've got senior leadership that isn't there yet. They don't really understand the power of social and just see it as those vanity metrics, or we want more followers, we want this story to go viral. Well, that's great, except for it doesn't really matter
I mean,
if
yeah,
it's not.
exactly. I mean, how when you like I love this. Like when I used to work in the business world, they were like, oh, we want more Instagram followers. We want to reach that level of. It's like, yeah, but how is Instagram followers is going to pay the school
Yeah,
bills? They're not.
yeah,
They're not. I'd rather have 500 followers that engage every day with me than 1,000 that just don't. That just watch and be just skip.
exactly. Exactly. And so Lucas and Pauline, thank you so much for joining us here today. If we have any last minute questions, go ahead and drop them here in the chat. We do want to be respectful of everyone's time, so we will hopefully wrap it up here very shortly. But if you have any questions, Lucas is in our group. He's in our clubhouse, so tag him in the Facebook group. Come and join him. Speech is a fantastic friend to Higher Ed Social, and we're really excited to keep bringing you these educational technologies that are coming out and how we can use them in our work to do better, and to really level up our processes. And so, thank you so much, you guys, for joining us today, and thank you
Thank you,
so much.
everyone. And
And
thank you, Cassandra, for organizing this, and actually have to put a word out there for organizing all those webinars and keeping this community alive. It's really great. Even for me outside of the space now, I still enjoy going back there and seeing what's happening, and people's issues on their day to day, and the solutions that just the exchange, because an actual community actually.
it is, yeah, and really, community is everything, and we know that in Higher Ed Social. It's we're and we've been lucky with such an engaged community, and people who have real fealty to the campus that they're working with. So, thank you so much to everybody who was joining us today. Again, you'll get a replay of this in your email that'll come out shortly after the presentation. And if you have any questions or concerns, let Lucas or Pauline know. Come tag us in the group, or ask questions in the event, and we'll get you connected to where you need to go. And so, with that, I will, if we don't have any other questions, any last minute questions in the chat, send them in. But if not, I will thank you guys so much for joining us for today, with our Higher Ed Social community, and engage with us. We want to hear from you. So tag us on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn, our Facebook group that you guys know of. We also have our all new professional society that is launching this fall, because Higher Ed Social is now an official legal professional society, and we're the world's largest and the only one for social media managers. So come over and join us. Come check out what we're doing. And if you have any ideas about what you want to see in the next webinar, we'd love to hear from them. Tell us, let us know. We put these on not just with our platform partners, but on topics that our members are asking for. So if there's a pinch point or a pain point in your work right now, and there's something out there that you want to learn or that who we can connect you to, let us know so we can put together a webinar for that. And so thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again, Lucas. I really thank you for giving us your
Thank you
time.
for the invitation
And
also.
the folks here at Speech, and hopefully you guys were as impressed with the platform as I was. I know I blew me away when I first saw it, and I love it. And so thank you so much, guys, and have a great rest of your Monday. We'll talk soon.
Have a great day,
Bye, guys.
everyone, and a great evening, great night. I don't know.
It's so hard where we are,
Yeah.
right time zones. Thanks, guys. We'll talk soon. Bye. Bye, Lauren. Bye, Catherine. Bye, Thessaly. Bye, Andy. Let's see, everybody's jumping off.